Welcome back to the channel Rare Coins Collections, fellow treasure hunters and numismatic fans. Today, we're diving deep into one of the most mysterious, legendary, and valuable coins ever produced by the United States Mint. It's small, it's silver, and it has a story so fascinating, it sounds like it belongs in a Hollywood movie. Yes, we're talking about the 1894 Barber dime, a coin that isn't just rare, it's the stuff of American coin collecting legends. Now, you might be thinking, it's just a dime, right? What could possibly make it so valuable? What makes this 10-cent piece from the 1800s command attention, admiration, and staggering prices at auctions? Well, buckle up, because this isn't your average old coin. This is a tale of mystery, limited mintage, and a vanishing act that left the coin collecting world in awe for over a century. Let's start with a bit of history. The Barber dime was named after its designer, Charles E. Barber, who also designed the Barber quarter and half dollar. The Barber coinage was minted between 1892 and 1916, and while many of these coins are collectible, the 1894 Barber dime stands out from all the rest. And when we say, stands out, we mean truly in a league of its own. Why? Because only 24 of these coins were ever struck. That's right, just 2 dozen. Not 2,400, not 24,000, just 24 individual dimes were minted at the San Francisco Mint in 1894. That instantly makes this one of the rarest coins in U.S. history, but here's where the story gets mysterious. No one really knows why only 24 were made. Some say it was a special request by the Mint superintendent to create proof coins as gifts for important friends and dignitaries. Others believe it was a bookkeeping issue, a small batch minted to even out the records at the end of the fiscal year. And then there's the version of the story that feels like a legend, that the Mint superintendent gave a few of these dimes to his daughter, telling her to spend one on ice cream and keep the other safe. That one dime allegedly used to buy a scoop of ice cream? Lost forever to time. Of the original 24, it's believed that only 9 or 10 exist today. That's it. The rest have either been spent, melted, misplaced, or remain lost to the ages. Now imagine this, you're digging through an old coin collection handed down from your grandparents. Tucked away in a forgotten pouch is a shiny silver dime from 1894. You think it's just another old coin, until you flip it over and see that little S mint mark below the wreath. That's when your hands start to shake. Because you might be holding one of the rarest coins in American history. Let's talk design for a moment. The obverse of the coin features the classic Liberty head designed by Charles Barber, wearing a cap and laurel wreath, with the words, United States of America, surrounding her, and the date 1894 just below her chin. It's elegant, simple, and distinctly American. The reverse of the coin is equally graceful, with one dime centered inside a wreath of corn, wheat, maple, and oak leaves, symbols of strength, agriculture, and prosperity. But what truly matters here isn't just how it looks, it's where it was minted, that small S under the wreath. That's your golden clue. That stands for San Francisco. And for this coin, it means everything, because while there were other 1894 dimes made at the Philadelphia and New Orleans mints, only San Francisco struck this extremely limited proof run. So, if you see that S on a 1894 Barber dime, you might want to sit down. Let's not forget the condition factor. Collectors go absolutely wild for coins in good condition, especially proof coins. That's what makes this even crazier, because all 24 of the original 1894 S dimes were proof strikes. That means they were made using specially polished dies and blanks to produce razor-sharp details and mirror-like surfaces. These weren't meant for circulation, they were special from the very beginning, but over time, coins get lost. Damaged. Mishandled. Cleaned improperly. So, finding one of the surviving examples in excellent condition? That's the kind of thing that makes headlines in the numismatic world. In fact, whenever one of these 1894 Barber dimes surfaces, it becomes a sensation. Major auction houses fight for the rights to list it. Collectors line up with 6-figure checks in hand. And every single time, the coin gets more valuable, and that brings us to the big moment. You've probably been wondering this whole time, how much can one of these incredibly rare, mysterious, history-soaked dimes actually sell for, well, one of the surviving 1894 S. Barber dimes, in remarkable condition and verified by top grading services, was auctioned for an astonishing $340,000. Yes. That's $340,000 for a dime, not a rare painting. Not a luxury car. A 10-cent coin that once could have been spent on bubble gum. This is what makes coin collecting so exciting. It's not just about money, it's about history, rarity, mystery, and the thrill of the hunt. So, the next time you're flipping through a coin collection or visiting a flea market, keep your eyes open. Because you never know, there could be a dime out there, waiting to change your life. Today, we're flipping the script on what you thought you knew about your pocket change, literally. Because that small, silver-colored coin you might overlook on the sidewalk? It could actually be worth a small fortune. We're talking about a coin that's been around for decades, passed through millions of hands, and still, somehow, managed to hide one of the most surprising secrets in modern U.S. coinage. That's right, it's the 1974 Roosevelt dime. Just 10 cents at face value, but in the right condition, and under the right circumstances, it could be worth more than your car, your vacation, or even your college tuition. So, what makes this tiny dime so potentially valuable? Let's find out. To understand the significance of the 1974 Roosevelt dime, we first need to understand its roots. The Roosevelt dime was introduced in 1946, shortly after the death of President Franklin D. Roosevelt. He had led the country through some of its darkest times, the Great Depression and World War II, and had become a beloved figure to millions of Americans. In his honor, the dime was redesigned to feature his portrait on the obverse side. From 1946 onward, Roosevelt's face became a staple in American pockets. But the real twist begins in the 1960s, when the U.S. Mint made a major change, shifting away from silver coinage. After 1964, dimes were no longer made of 90% silver. Instead, they were struck with a copper core and clad in nickel, the way we know them today. By 1974, the Roosevelt dime had already become an everyday coin, a quiet part of our daily lives. But not all 1974 dimes were created equal. In fact, some of them carry hidden details and rare errors that have turned them into prized treasures for collectors. Now, let's break this down. First, there's the issue of mint location. In 1974, Roosevelt dimes were produced at 3 mints: Philadelphia, which carried no mint mark; Denver, with a small D mark; and San Francisco, marked with an S. Most dimes from that year are completely ordinary. They were made by the hundreds of millions. But the extraordinary ones are out there. And they're hiding in plain sight. One thing that sends the value of any coin through the roof is a mint error, and the 1974 Roosevelt dime has its share of strange and rare mistakes. One of the most sought-after errors involves off-metal strikes. These are coins that were accidentally struck on planchets meant for other denominations, like a penny or a foreign coin. Imagine holding a dime that looks like it's the wrong color or size. That's not your eyes playing tricks on you, that could be a mint error worth thousands. Another extremely valuable variety involves double die obverse, where parts of the coin, like the year or the words, "In God We Trust," appear to be stamped twice. The effect can be subtle or dramatic, but either way, these coins are rare, and collectors go wild for them. There are also examples of off-center strikes, where the design of the coin is shifted so far to one side that part of it is missing entirely. These errors are easy to spot, and depending on how dramatic the misalignment is, and whether the date is still visible, such coins can be incredibly valuable. But here's the twist: condition matters just as much as the error itself. A 1974 Roosevelt dime that has been carefully preserved since the day it was minted, flawless, shiny, and untouched by human hands, can fetch far more than one that's scratched, dinged, or circulated. That's where coin grading comes in. A coin graded MS 67 or higher is considered near perfect and is highly desirable in the collector's market. The tiniest details, luster, strike, and surface marks, can be the difference between a coin worth a few dollars and one worth thousands. Now, let's talk about one more factor that makes some of these dimes priceless: rarity combined with error and condition. It's the ultimate trifecta. when you take a coin that's already difficult to find with a rare error and combine it with an exceptional grade, you're not just looking at a neat piece of history, you're looking at a serious asset. Something that goes to auction and gets bidders fired up. Something that turns heads in the numismatic world. Something that's been known to go viral. Think about it, a coin that's been hiding in a drawer, passed down through generations, or left in a forgotten piggy bank, suddenly making headlines because someone took the time to take a closer look. And that brings us to the grand finale. You might be wondering, just how much can a 1974 Roosevelt dime be worth? Well, one of these dimes, struck with a rare mint error and preserved in stunning, high-grade condition, has sold at auction for a jaw-dropping $40,000. Yes, you heard that right. A dime, 10 cents, worth $40,000. That's why coin collecting isn't just a hobby, it's a hunt. A treasure hunt. One that's been going on for decades and still turns up incredible surprises to this day. So, the next time you're handed some change at the store or you clean out that old drawer filled with coins from years ago, take a closer look. Because you just might be holding something truly extraordinary. Top 3 today, we're diving into something small, silver, and surprisingly valuable, the 1987 Roosevelt one dime from the United States of America. Now, at first glance, this might look like just another dime in your change jar, something you'd toss on a counter without thinking twice. But don't be fooled by its size. This little coin has a big story, and in certain rare cases, it could be worth a fortune. So grab your magnifying glass, get comfortable, and stick with us, because this is one coin you don't want to overlook. Let's begin with a little backstory. The Roosevelt dime has been a part of American pockets and purses since 1946, honoring the 32nd president, Franklin D. Roosevelt, and his role in founding the March of Dimes. The design, featuring Roosevelt's profile on the front and a torch flanked by an olive branch and oak branch on the back, has become iconic in American coinage. But what makes the 1987 Roosevelt dime stand out from the crowd? After all, millions were minted that year. That's where the story gets interesting. Most 1987 dimes are indeed very common. They were produced in large numbers at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. However, there's a twist, because not all 1987 dimes were created equal. There are a few very special versions of this coin that collectors are desperately searching for. And it all comes down to minting errors and preservation. One of the most valuable variations is a 1987 Roosevelt dime with what's known as a full band strike. That means the horizontal bands on the torch, located on the reverse side of the coin, are sharply and completely struck. These full band dimes are much harder to find because they require an exceptionally strong and clean strike from the minting press. Coins like this are collector gold. Now, let's talk errors, because this is where things really heat up. Some 1987 Roosevelt dimes were struck off center. Others show doubling on the lettering or Roosevelt's features, known as a double die error. There are also reports of transitional errors where the coin was accidentally struck using incorrect metal planchets, leading to weight and color discrepancies. These kinds of errors are extremely rare, and they can send collectors into a frenzy, especially when they're certified by professional grading services. An error coin in pristine, uncirculated condition can command massive attention, and even bigger prices. And here's the kicker, very few 1987 dimes were saved in high grades. Because it was a common coin meant for circulation, almost all of them were used in daily life, worn down, scratched, and tossed around. But those few that were preserved in gem mint state, flawless, shiny, and sharp, are the ones that can skyrocket in value. Collectors hunt for these high-grade examples because they complete sets, fill gaps in error collections, or simply represent the thrill of finding something extraordinary in the ordinary. So, you've been patiently waiting for the big reveal. If you happen to have a 1987 Roosevelt one dime with a rare mint error, especially one with full bands, off-center striking, or double die features, and it's in uncirculated, near-perfect condition, its value could reach up to $40,000. That's right, what might look like a 10-cent coin could be worth more than a brand new car. So the next time you go through your change, don't ignore those dimes. Check the date. Look closely at the details. You just might be holding a hidden treasure in the palm of your hand. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about valuable coins, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell. We've got plenty more coin secrets coming your way. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy hunting, collectors.